Alright guys, we are back for part 2 of the Destiny 2 showcase. For me, it's only been literally 10 seconds, but for you guys, it's the next day. Like I said, I was breaking this down into 2 parts, mainly because I'm a degenerate and wanted to get 2 videos out of it, and I wanted to talk about a lot of stuff. So, when we left off, we just gone over the new supers that are coming out. They all look pretty cool. The Hunter one, like I said, has a Hunter main. That one, in my head, I can't help but think how it's going to go in combat, and that worries me, but like I said, we'll give it a chance to see how it looks in how it works in game. For PvP, it looks absolutely crazy. But I'm a PvE main, so that's how I always think of things. But we were coming up on the new weapons coming out, so let's go ahead and take a look at that now. I'm going to back this up here a bit, and here we go.
Weapons team has been working on all sorts of goodness. We've got exotics, we've got legendaries, we've got perks. We're always cooking up stuff. We're always playing with stuff that we think is like really interesting or taking inspiration. We have Tessellation, which is this exotic pyramid fusion rifle. It has the really intriguing property
I like
of
the crystallization on
adapting
top
your
of it.
Guardian's current damage type.
This will be the first time that you can run a weapon that can adapt to be strand or stasis in the energy slot. So you'll be able to run an entirely strand or entirely stasis loadout.
Now that sounds pretty badass. I hope to be able to do that with all the subclasses at one point, but that sounds pretty cool, and I hope to come out with more weapons like that, and even weapon perks that allow you to do that, so that'd be really cool.
Tessellation has the additional property that you can special reload to reshape your grenade and suck it into the weapon, and then fire out a super destructive single projectile. That's a really special weapon.
Damn.
What's the one specific exotic that I can make that's like really zany that you would like right now?
What if Golden Gun was a sniper rifle?
What if you could
Okay.
harness the might of the Traveler? You know, we had a moment where we saw that Traveler Beam cutscene. I know people on Weapons went, I kind of want that.
Yeah, I want it
that
too.
is incredibly
That looks
dope.
like it's
So we've got this opportunity to bring back these iconic
That's gonna be a
Destiny
pretty
1
damn
weapons,
cool weapon
but
there.
Really turn it
The
into
trace
something
rifle, that's what I was
feels
thinking.
unique in Destiny 2.
We have to bring Kvotov into
there we go.
full
Kvotov is coming
The
back.
Red Death exotic pulse rifle.
and Dragon's
We're
Breath.
at Death, Dragon's Breath. We're
Burn
getting
the world, burn it all.
we're getting some pretty good weapons here, or some
In
pretty
the final
iconic
shape,
ones.
We have new
Hopefully they
weapon
work in
subfamilies
Destiny
coming,
2.
broadening what existing weapons can be.
The really
Here's what I was
bordering on
interested in.
exotic functionality. So for example, we've got a rocket pistol sidearm subfamily.
This one, the rocket pistol, was the one that really got my jimmies jingling when I saw this thing. This, I got a love-hate relationship with grenade launchers. I like them, but they're like my favorite weapon is a hung jury. I always want to have a secondary weapon that that's got like a bit more boom to it, because my ideal loadout is a sword, hung jury. I know I'm degenerate using swords and a hung jury, but I always want something that's got a bit more boom to it too, which usually means I got to use a grenade launcher. I suck with them. So a rocket pistol, this sounds like the exact thing. I was gonna feel like Boba Fett. Like this I think might be this might be my shit right here.
We always liked the special ammo sidearms. This fires tiny, slow-moving rockets. They hit very hard, do a bit of AoE damage. They
That
have a
looks
mixture
badass.
of regular weapon and rocket launcher stats. We're also doing a new support weapon subfamily.
The support frame auto rifle is a type of legendary auto rifle. It'll let you switch seamlessly from firing at enemies to healing your allies.
That looks
I'm
like
really
it could
excited
be,
to bring it
depending
to
on how
dungeons
well
and
it
keep my
heals,
team
could
alive,
be
honestly.
invaluable in Raids and other high-end content. Like that could be
Weapons team is
insane.
always coming up with new ideas.
Imagine running a GM and you've got one person just going buck wild while 2 people are shooting him with healing SMGs. I mean, that could be... I mean, imagine the opening room of Lightblade. That, you know the room I'm talking about. Once you get past the wide open part, when you go into the first room, you know the one I mean. Imagine doing that and having somebody, or having 2 teammates just going nuts with the healing rifle. That can be pretty cool.
We've got a ton of new cool stuff coming over the next few years, and some new and really wild ideas, which we're pretty excited about.
Come on, take a load off.
There you go. There he is. My boy
This
Cade.
place is only big enough for one dashing hero type. And
That's me.
So.
Oh, well, you.
I'm
Okay.
back.
Well, we can argue that.
Hey, you two, give me a sec. I was magnificent. This is great. Anyone want a hug? Get your rock off my map. Worst case scenario, you die. But who knows?
Maybe you won't. They really did kill me when they killed Cade. I mean, I get it. He was a comedic relief, but I mean, he was, well, you guys don't get it. He was a comedic relief. Everybody loved him. I don't understand why they killed him off to begin with. Like, even if there was an issue with the voice actor, they had another voice actor to do it. Like, I don't understand why. I get his death impacted everybody, probably the most out of all three, but
in this moment
holy
where
shit.
we're driving to the end
I'm
of
glad
the
he's
Light and
back now.
Darkness saga, it's great to see Cade like return to this world at this moment with all
And
this
with
change
Nathan
about to
Fillion.
culminate with this confrontation with the long-standing enemy, the Witness.
Cade is the quintessential hunter. His presence casts such a long shadow over the story of Destiny, whether it was when he was alive or when he was dead.
What Cade goes through in this journey, how he serves as a catalyst for the other characters, the events that are uncovered to have brought him back. This is how the story had to end. There was
I say
no
brought
end
him
to the
back.
Light and
Let's see if he's
Darkness
actually
saga that
back, or
didn't
we just
have Cade
inside the
here
Traveler.
alongside his friends to finish the job.
Once we started digging into the nature of the Pale Heart, I think that crystallized Cade's role as a guide. Cade is Virgil, and he's our guide through this other place. Cade is the
Okay.
one who is the most appropriate person to be the guide, because that's his job. That's always been his job. It just feels so natural for Nathan to be back in the booth. It felt amazing to just see him slip back into the role, like, without missing a beat.
Right, instantly.
In
I
the
like
flesh,
it.
or metal, as it were.
Cade's the glue that's always held Zavala and Ikora together. Having him back puts them in a position of questioning where they've been and what they've done without him.
You think about the journey that
Damn.
Zavala's been on and how he's been taken down this dark path. And you think
Makes you
about
wonder how
the
they
weight
would have
that's been
handled
on
all this if
Ikora,
Cade had been here.
having to hold the Vanguard together, having Cade's voice of levity and brightness that he brings to that group that I think is good.
Tell you what, just from a lore standpoint, just from someone, as much as I gripe about the game a lot, I mean, I still love the community, I love the story. I do wonder how they would have handled this in-game wise if Cade had actually been here. At Zavala and Ikora, I think it would have helped a lot with some of the issues they were having, but that, yeah, it does kind of hit home a little bit.
It's going to be great for them.
Well, at least we have each other.
We want people to take away that sense of reunion and that idea of like the gang being back together for this moment.
I'm here now. Wherever the hell here is.
Unlocking the path.
Guardian.
There we go, this is for this season.
Poses a dire threat. And the Witch Queen holds the answers we seek. But only if we contend with her sister, Zebu Araf. It rests with me. Will you come back?
I love whenever there is a Hive, Hive themed season, just because I love the Hive lore so much and like the spells and the looks of everything. It's always so badass. Yep, here we go.
Bring me your time.
Witch Queen.
You now wield.
It's always, if you're listening or looked up any of the lore, I think the timeline that that Elsie Bray was at before this one, Eris Morn, if you haven't, spoiler alert, but I think the timeline before this one that Elsie Bray is at, Eris Morn ended up becoming the Witch Queen. And not just a Witch Queen, she had Savathun at her beck and call. Eris is a fucking beast. Do not forget that. I think the only reason they say that she didn't go nuts and she kept her mind or kept things under control this time is because Elsie was there to help her learn darkness and to control it. But in the other timeline, she not only just fell to the darkness, I mean, she became the Witch Queen. And they were like, Savathun, no, Savathun's not the Witch Queen. Eris Morn is the Witch Queen. That motherfucker. Whew. Eris is a beast, and don't ever forget that.
Hive magic and have entwined it with your light. Assault the Spire, Guardian, and open the way to our tides.
Now, I've already been playing this. This is already out. Like I said, it came out yesterday. It's not bad so far.
Let them know fear.
I more like the theme than anything. I don't like the armor that came out this season though. That's just me though. I don't like the flower thing, but I am liking the season so far, and we've only just started.
Every opponent you defeat strengthens me. My appetite rises for your brutal tributes.
That's dirty to me.
Let us show her what it is to be Hive.
Out hiving the hive. That's insane to think about.
You are deserving of the greatest death I can bestow.
I will say this. There's two things I gotta say about this. One, as Eva Wrath is like, just the lore behind this. If she's been doing this as long as I think, I'm not sure how 6 to 8 weeks of us killing a few enemies is gonna somehow power up Eris to Zeru's level. Although again, like I said, it turns out Eris is an extreme badass, so maybe we don't need that much to tip the scales in her favor anyway. Second, if we end up fighting Zebra Wrath this season, which is what I'm thinking, and we fight her, I hope it's not a shitty battle. Like, when we found out just how strong she is, I mean, she's butting heads with Savathun and Oryx. The only one who's been really, really badass so far, in my opinion, has been Oryx. I mean, he was a fucking raid boss after all. Savathun, yeah, we beat her in the campaign. Technically, she's not gone yet, but she wasn't raid boss material. Zebra Rat seems like she might just be weekly mission fodder, so it really makes me wonder if she's... I know lore-wise she's supposed to be super strong, but have we just gotten that much stronger that we can just... She's gone from raid level to, you know, at Oryx's level to now she's just weekly story fodder, or what with that? But again, I know they... in-game, they can only do so much. I've got to make it mechanically fit in the game, but lore-wise, I'm really wondering about how strong she really is, but like I said, we'll see. I think it maybe, canonically, we've just gotten that much stronger.
The Season of the Witch is our opportunity as players. We've been annihilating and breaking Hive spells, and now we finally get to cast them.
At the end of Season of the Deep, we learn that Savathun has the key to getting into the portal that we need to go into. That means we have to go find Imaru, her ghost. Imaru's like,
That
not
little
so
fucker.
fast. We've got a bigger problem first.
Amaru's
Bigger
got a
problem
smart-ass
then
mouth
is the
for
If
who
we
he
fight
is.
her, she only gets stronger. Eris has an idea. It's a really...
She
it's a
seems
wild-ass
excited
idea,
about
yeah.
She's so
determined,
happy
like,
about
well,
this.
the best way to fight
Like,
fire is with
Eris has an
fire.
idea.
We are channeling all of that energy that we're creating by going through, by eliminating enemies, and we're tithing to our friend Eris.
She just said that with such an innocent... look at her face when she says that.
To our friend Eris.
Like, she just said all that stuff that we're doing with such a happy-go-lucky look on her face. That is insane, and I love it. Like, yeah, all that blood and destruction we've been
What does that mean for the
doing,
player?
we're giving all that to our friends.
Like Savathun. And that's where we
crazy.
went down the path
Okay.
of having Hive Eris. We want to extend that magical fantasy into the player then. That ability to have overwhelming magical power, that risk and reward into all of our activities and systems experiences. And so that's what led us to come up with things like Deck of Whispers. It's this magical deck of cards that creates amazing synergies with your buildcraft meta and with buffs and the activities.
They can then choose these cards at will, whichever ones they want, and then that really leans into the build crafting.
You actually are getting cards that you can then use to place on the battlefield and change the way you play.
I'm such a sucker for deck building. Like, being able to, like, bring that
I've already
element
played it a
into
bit. I haven't
Destiny
unlocked a
gameplay
ton of
has
cards
just been
yet,
like,
but
it's really fun.
yes and no. It's alright, but like, discovering the cards is what we're
Two
currently
brand new
still
seasonal
doing.
activities coming with Season of the Witch. We've got Altars of Summoning and Savathun's Spire.
Savathun Spire is our new 3-player offensive. You're doing a lot more with Lucent Hive magic, but it's got a high amount of combatant density. It's got additional
It is pretty
random
good for killing
encounters that
enemies.
you can come
Don't get me
across.
wrong,
The Witch's Spire
I'm
is
loving
like
how dense the
Savathun's
enemies
Spire.
are.
It was like her reliquary for all these different magical experiments as she was learning the light. You're there in order to learn as much as you can in order to become a master spellcaster, right? To become like Savathun.
She did an awful lot of experiments for
The Altar
that small
Summons
amount of
activity is really
time that she was
exciting because
resurrected.
You can spend like 20 minutes in it, or you can spend 2 hours in it.
It's a 3-player experience that you can hop in and hop out of. As you're going through this activity, you're filling the tithing bucket. As that tithing bucket is filled up, you'll get progressively more rewards. And then finally at the end, it'll cash out and you'll get a whole mess of rewards.
Yeah.
We really wanted to make sure that there was a home for any exotic mission content coming in seasons.
This is
after the
what
year
I'm
has
looking
passed.
forward to.
And so we developed what we're calling the exotic mission rotator.
Right away, we're getting Presage, Vox Obscura, and Operation Seraph Shield.
This is some of the
I never
most
got to
fun
play
content
Seraph
the team
Shield.
has making it some of the content the fans and players of Destiny love the most.
I don't
The
think.
most exciting thing, outside of just the missions themselves, is that every time we put a mission inside of that rotator, the exotic that comes alongside of it will become craftable.
Ooh, I missed that last time.
With Season of the Witch, we have a brand new Vex lo-fi PvP map coming. It's really exciting. It's got a bunch of really tight.
I haven't got to
gameplay
check this out yet. I
experiences.
haven't
We
done
wanted
any
to make sure
PvP yet.
that we focus the combat a little bit more. With the new Vex network map, we really wanted to make sure we hit is like, hey, you're shoulder to shoulder more often. There's not as much deep sight lines that you're interacting with. And a lot of the flow of the map is actually built around this like kind of central pillar of the Vex network that you're orienting around.
Okay.
There's also some modes coming too, right?
We've got a new PvP game mode coming that's all about relics. It's about multiple relics, so it's not just one like the Scorch game mode from the past. So we've got the shield coming from Vault of Glass, we've got the spear back from Season of the Risen.
And we've got the scythe from Season of the
I
Haunted.
love the scythe.
Yeah,
That's
so
my
you're gonna
shit.
get Reaping Guardians with that thing. It's a lot more tactical gameplay.
I wish they
It's
had
all
it as a
about
weapon.
running around the map, claiming
Or a
these relic
super, but
dispensers,
it is what it
and then
is.
grabbing them in order to push for victory.
I will take what I need. The words in my throat are the weapon in my fist.
We were feeling pretty Hyvey this season. Obviously, there's something in the air. And so when thinking about like what's a good raid reprisal that would really suit this very Hyvey season, there's only one answer.
Sorry, adjusting my nanny cam. And yeah, it's Crotus. I could have sworn that they said back in the day they would never bring Crotus back as a raid, and here they are doing it. Now, don't get me wrong, they're right. This is definitely the raid to bring back for the season. I think they couldn't do Route to the Machine, which I know you're going to hate me for this. I never really personally enjoyed Route to the Machine. I like Taken King better, but that might be my bias because I started playing during the Taken King. But, and again, I just like the Hive stuff better. But, yeah, I mean, they couldn't bring back anything else but this. Or some stuff from... they still need to bring back all the Destiny 2 original raids. I still think they need to do that. Not as like reprise, just give us back the stuff we already had. But this should be... I hope this is good. I don't get to play it this Friday, I don't think, because I got the kid now and whatnot. But this is... I'm hoping that they did this raid justice. So I never got to play it in Destiny 1, and I want to play it in Destiny 2, and I hope it's not a strike, which is that's how people described it to me
Heading into the
when they
final
played in
shape,
Destiny
we
1.
really want to rally all Guardians at the end of the Light and Darkness saga. We
Okay.
want to reduce those power barriers as well as catch people up
Oh,
on
yeah, I
the
forgot about this. I
scoring
like
beat
this.
and make sure that they have a really great and easy time connecting with other players. In the final
What was
shape,
a
we're
lot?
trying to find ways to make power more simple and easy to understand, and also lowering the barrier to entry.
It's going to make it easier for players who have not been able to jump into game easily because they were held back by the challenges in grinding for the power levels that are required by these different activities.
One of the major changes that's going to be happening starting with the final shape is there are going to be a certain number of activities that are going to be power fixed. So it doesn't matter kind of what power level you are going into it, you're always going to be able to approach it. There's still going to be tiers of difficulty that you can do, things that are just meant to be experienced a certain way.
Things like Nightfall strikes that will still have power enabled, and that's where we're really going to focus the whole power climb.
The raids, the contest modes that everybody loves to engage with, that
That's just
experience is
that power.
fundamentally going to be staying the same.
I'm excited for this because I think there will be a lot more clarity for players in terms of understanding the relative difficulty of things, where they sit now in the spectrum.
One way that we're trying to do that is making it easier for new players to engage with you. So we're introducing something that we're calling Fire Team Power.
You can actually bring your friends along to play any dungeons and raids in the game without having to wait them to be at a certain power level. The person with the highest power in your fire team is actually going to bring all the others
Gonna
close
set
to
the
their
power
level, which means that there's no barriers really for any other Guardian to join you in this high-level content.
When it's combined with Fireteam Finder, it also allows you to find strangers.
This
people
will
you've never
make
played with before and have
doing
that same
raid
experience. That's all
chirping a lot
regardless of
easier
the
too.
power level of you and the rest of the people in your fire team.
Fireteam Finder is the new feature that's coming in Season 23.
And this is
aiming
what I
at
can't wait for, the
helping
Fireteam
connect
Finder.
and find other people to complete the best and most aspirational.
Let me see. We got raids, dungeons, seasonal, Vanguard, Crucible Gambit, campaign, other. Okay, I like it. I like it.
Content in
I thought that was
Destiny.
coming
We
out
have
this
a
season,
tag
but I was
system
wrong.
that allows players to be able to say, well, this is my play style. I'm really chill. And
Competitive, friendly, patient, chill, experience, chill. He got chill there. Good. The most used tag on Fireteam Finder, be chill. Yep. Like good time. Meta loadout, first time, clan recruiting. Okay. Okay, good.
I sweat. I'm just really here to have a
Basically
good
me.
time. Exactly.
Tags really allows players to show a little bit more personality, show a little bit more about what they're about.
Languages,
I think what's
good.
really great
Got a greeting, experience, ability, subclass, activity. So you can set all this. Okay. This is
about it
this
is
good.
with this launch, we're also looking at including inclusion tags.
As an example, one of the inclusion tags that we have are for colorblind players. Hopefully, the inclusion tags will bring players closer to finding their community. Are for colorblind.
There you go. Chill, competitive, fast, clan recruiting, deaf, first time, kind gamer, experience, really lots of time. So these are just so chill and colorblind. Those are both me, definitely colorblind. So okay, you can looks like you can have 3 tags on here. Now, this is more than likely, this is technical mock-up, visuals not final, or visuals not final. They're probably going to change this by next season, but I'm just getting an idea of what we're looking at. Because you probably can't put too many damn tags on here. But yeah, it makes sense to just have a few on there.
Blind players. Hopefully, the inclusion tags will bring players closer to finding their community and even closer to the people that they're playing with. So once a listing goes live, players will be put into a listing lobby where players can gather, they can communicate with each other. So we wanted to make it as convenient and as easy as possible for players to not just sit and stare at a screen for a long time while their listing actually fills up.
As a gamer who's typically more solo, I'm especially excited about this because it really is about helping reduce that anxiety and burden that comes with trying to make a new connection.
As long as people respect the tags correctly, like if they don't get butthurt when they put hey casual or first time and they get mad when, you know, they don't know what they're doing. As long as we're respecting that, I think we're having a good time. I've seen some LFG horror stories. I've had a couple myself. Like I said before, I had the baby. I did a lot of Sherping for LFGs. I've had some really good experiences. I've had most of them. They're just, you know, it's a little bit like pulling teeth, but usually the teams can come together. But I have had some really, not as bad as some of the ones I've seen on Reddit, but I have had some really bad experiences before. And some people can be really toxic. And then some people like to, a lot of what I usually see is like a lot of over talking or people that think they know what they're doing but really don't. Or you get in and you're offering a Sherpa, and then you get one random guy who's done this like once or twice before and they want to try to take over the thing. It's like, dude, look, they're asking me, this is what I'm trying to explain. Just calm down, sit back, and if you got questions, let me know. But hopefully this isn't as bad as that. I mean, we're being frank, it's probably going to be a little bad, but we'll see. I think this will probably be a little bit more moderated than the LFG is, and hopefully, like I said, the tags will be respected a bit more, and people leave the newer players alone a bit. Because one thing I do notice, I mean, I love helping new players out. There's plenty of people that love helping out new players, especially with stuff like raids and Grandmasters, but raids especially because there's so much content there and so much cool stuff to do. I really hope we're able to get a lot more players doing that. And I know I'm kind of off on a mini rant here, but one thing that me, Chalubi, and Don, the guys I play with, were kind of laughing about the other night, like, I was really thinking about it, like, we were just fucking around, and we're actually would be considered, you know, high-end players, because we do the raids, we do them well, we do Grandmasters. I mean, we're all gilded Grandmasters, I mean, multiple times. I mean, I'm thinking I'm like 7 now. They were like, I think Don was like 3 or 4, Chalubi, same thing. I think it's like 7. Like, we've been doing it every season, and we've been doing every raid. We've got everything out of almost all of them. So we're considered higher end players, as it was like, I mean, we're not even that good. So I really would like to get a lot more players that haven't been able to do the raids in, just because I mean, just because you don't have any friends to do it, I mean, that's kind of a shitty reason not to be able to do it. Now, I'm not saying you should be able to just go and get all the loot, for free, but you definitely should have to go through and earn it. But I think this will make it easier to do so. I like that. I never liked that there wasn't LFG in game for all these activities, especially for stuff like GMs too. I don't really think you should have matchmaking off for some Grandmasters. I think somebody suggested at one point that if you pass Grandmaster on certain mode, or if you pass the Nightfall on certain modes, like, Legendary would unlock, Mastered. If you pass on Mastered, it unlocks Grandmaster for matchmaking. So if you've proven you know what you can do, or you know what you're doing, it should unlock the next one for matchmaking. I always wish something like that was in game, but it looks like this should take care of that. So that was a little mini rant, but we'll continue on from here.
The feature coming out today that I'm incredibly excited about is Timeline Reflections. Essentially what we have done is we've went back to previous expansions and pulled out missions that we felt really represent key narrative beats within our story.
I haven't played these yet, but this is a good idea.
Mission for Beyond Light, as well as a mission for Witch Queen.
Thanks for the memories, Guardian.
The neat thing about these missions is they're not going to be like one-to-one for how you would experience them in the campaign. You're also going to get additional pieces of narrative fed to you to identify hey, this is why it's
now I haven't played these yet, and I'm curious if they're going to be, they said they're not one-to-one, so I'm guessing they might be different missions.
For Final Shape is Cade's Last Stand from Forsaken.
But I don't know, we'll see. I'll try to play that this weekend.
This is a moment that a lot of players, new and old, are going to come back to Destiny. I think this is just the right time to introduce features that are going to allow those players to jump right in and find people to play with and enjoy this content regardless of their power level.
We're reaching the end of this 10-year journey. What comes next?
The episodes, and the new way we're going to tell stories moving forward.
What's really important about episodes is that it's a really big shakeup.
Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of stop here, and I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here, because they're going to talk about that this is not the end of Destiny 2, and this has been something they've said for a while now. This is just the end of the Light and Dark saga. They don't actually say what they're going to be doing story-wise after this, and it wouldn't make sense to say it right now, because right now we're talking about the Final Shape. It doesn't make sense to talk about what's after that when we got this big culminating story right now. We're not going to talk about story-wise what's going to be after that. They do hint that we're going to be dealing with the aftermath of Lightfall, and that we're going to, instead of doing 4 seasons a year, they're just basically going to be, they're calling them episodes. It's essentially 3 seasons a year instead of 4. So hopefully there's more meat on those seasons. We'll see how they actually handle them. Sorry. We'll see how they handle them, but it's essentially going from 4 seasons to 3. Now, how they actually handle this, I don't know. Like I said, I hope they got more meat on them. And let me get to... Here we go. Here's what they look like here. So, I think, yeah, they got them laid out. So, March to June is going to be the Echoes episode, and then Remnant, and then Heresy. And it looks like we...
3 moments. And
I can't tell what all these modifiers are, but... Yeah, that's... New quest, new yada yada. So that's what they're going to be doing. It's essentially going from 4 seasons to 3 seasons. They can dress up how they want to, but that's what they're doing. Now, as far, and it's 6 weeks, so... Okay, act 1, 2, 3. So each act is going to be 6 weeks. So each episode is going to... So it looks like... maybe it's more like 9, but it looks like there's still going to be more seasons just broken up. Yeah, Act 1, 6 weeks. Act 2, 6 weeks. Act 3, 6 weeks. Yeah, I mean, it's still just seasons, but they're just broken up differently. But that's all they talk about. Now, here's what I wanted to really go over on this one. This is why when they cut this video into 2 parts. The first one I wanted to go over more of the meat and potatoes of it. This one's more features and what's coming on in the future. They've really got to do a good job for Final Shape. And not just because this is, the big culminating story of Light and Dark, but because this is the end of a story, they want their player base to stick around for the next story. And if we're not invested in how this one ends, we're not going to want to stick around to see how the next story begins. If they fumble this one and ends up like Lightfall, a lot of people aren't going to want to come back and start a whole new chapter post Final Shape. I mean, a lot of players have been playing since Destiny 1. Even if they haven't, they've been playing since the beginning of Destiny 2. Even if they picked it up here recently and they've become invested in the story, they're not going to want to start a whole new story with Bungie if they don't handle this one correctly. And I say they have to knock it out of the park because they've really fumbled, not just with Lifeball, but they fumbled with the seasons. They fumbled with things like PvP. I mean, I still remember, and again, some of you, if you watch my videos, you may not remember, I used to make videos for Destiny 2 when it first came out. When it first came out, there was controversies that had come out with the game. I mean, we found out they were doing things like throttling experience or issues with the cash shop, which are still, they always come out with new, skins and new things for the Eververse store, but somehow PvP players are screwed, or Gambit gets screwed, or there's no new game modes, or all these things have been issues. I'm not sure that Bungie can address all of them with the final shape, but they have to make enough of a leap and do a good enough job in the final shape to tell players that, hey, not only are we going to fix this, but we're going to continue to fix things as we go forward. Now, I think it was Joe Blackburn came out. It might have been him. Or it might have been someone else here recently. After that, that TWAB a couple weeks ago, or about a week ago, where they basically just told the community, "Go fuck yourself." I mean, that's what it sounded like when people heard it, and they basically had to do with an emergency. Hey, we hear you. Here's what we meant by this. Just wait for the showcase to come out. We're going to explain a lot of this. They're going to have to do a really good job with this. They're going to have to end the story well first off. Again, Light and Dark Saga is ending. They're going to have to... First off, let me go back to one thing I did miss. They did not announce a third Darkness subclass in here. We've seen leaks about this. We've seen screenshots. If they don't have a third Darkness subclass, first off, it's going to make my OCD go fucking nuts. Okay, 3 Light, 3 Dark. Give me the other Dark subclass, or it's like seeing that part of the chalkboard where your teacher forgot to erase that one spot. Give me the third Darkness subclass, or I'm going to go insane. So that was disappointing. Now, I've seen some people speculate that they didn't want to announce it. They wanted that they're still polishing it and they're not sure it's going to be ready in time. I've seen some people say, hey, they wanted this showcase to, talk about the new Light Supers that were coming out, so they're going to announce it later on. Personally, I don't know about that. It's possible. If I was worried that I might need something else in my back pocket later, I might hold that back till closer to release date. Percy, I think normally if they were going to have a new subclass, they would announce that in the showcase. At the same time, maybe they were holding back on announcing it because they don't want people to think that that's all the campaign is going to be about. Because that was a big issue with Lifeball. It was just a campaign to learn Strand. So maybe they don't want the new subclass if there is one. And again, they haven't announced anything, which is making me think that there isn't one. Maybe if there is one, they were purposely holding back until closer to the time they're going to say, hey, you're also going to get this new subclass. You'll unlock it easily like this, or after the campaign. The whole campaign's not going to be about it. But, something like that would make more sense. But, like I said, they've got to do a good job with this. They've got to wrap this up in a way that makes us want to come back for the next chapter of Destiny. Because this first chapter's been 10 years in the making. Okay, again, like I said, even if you've only come into Destiny 2 recently, or Destiny Universe recently, this has been a 10-year story. I mean, this started in Destiny 1. It's going to be ending, and they're saying there's going to be stuff. There are so many ways and so many places they can go with Destiny going forward. The Light and Dark Saga is going to be over. That doesn't mean that the old Light and Darkness enemies aren't going to be there. There are still enemies out there that we've yet to defeat. There are enemies that can come back. There's a lot of lore stuff that can come back, like the original enemy. I forgot what her name was, but the one that betrayed the Hive Gods, the original one, she's still out there. We can go and take back to her bottle. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can do. I mean, we've read about all these alien races and all these places that the Travelers touch. I mean, hell, we can finish up the Light and Darkness subclass, I keep saying subclass. We can finish up the Light and Darkness saga and become like an emissary for the Traveler or something like that. I mean, just like the Witnesses had emissaries, the Traveler can have emissaries now. We're essentially going to be champion of the universe because we're saving the universe. It would make sense that, humanity's proven himself and, our allies have proven themselves now. We're going to go and help the Traveler, keep spreading spreading life, doing what it does. So maybe we're going to be going to different planets and terraforming them or helping out different civilizations. There's a lot of different places as this can go, but if they don't handle Final Shape correctly, no one's going to want to come and go on that ride with Bungie. In fact, I would say, if anything, if Lightfall is handled poorly, or not Lightfall, if Final Shape is handled poorly, that is going to be the stopping point of a lot of people. And I'm talking not just people quitting because they didn't like it. I mean, that would be the point where it's saying, okay, if that's the end of this chapter, that's the end of what I've known in Destiny 2, this is a perfect stopping point, and never come back. And more so than Lightfall, because in Lightfall we knew there was more to come. We knew it ended up being filler. Even something like, Witch Queen, we knew there was going to be more. We had a stopping point that Bungie had enough rope to hang themselves in the situation. They gave us essentially the end date for when this saga is going to be done, and when the story was going to be done. So even the people being strung along now, even if you didn't like the story, we knew, hey, I'm going to stick around till this date, see how the story ends, and that's it. So that is a cutoff right there. That is a very important time when that story is over. Because if it's, like I said, I keep saying it, but if it is not handled correctly, people are done. Potentially myself included, because Destiny is a game that you do put a lot of time and effort into. I think I got over like 4,000 hours into it. Granted, people say you spend a lot of that time just in orbit, not doing anything. Don't get me wrong, half that time. So, maybe 2,000 hours in orbit, 2,000 hours of actual play time. I'll give you that one. Split the difference there. But hopefully this all goes very well. Like I said, they go through and they talk about they just go over some more basic crap again. They go over they just say, hey, it's the Light and Dark saga, yada yada. They go over the pre-order for the Collector's Edition. It's going to be that is one thing that was kind of cool. The Collector's Edition, they had a little. Let me go through there. They had a little model tower that they're gonna have.
Try and regame.
Let's see. There we go. They had a little model tower. It's probably gonna have a bunch of secrets and stuff. I'm debating on getting it. I've got a kid now, so I really can't spend money on crazy stuff like that too much here. I did get the Witch Queen Collector's Edition, so I got my ghost and everything. I got a stand back here, but I can pull a stand up, so I got my ghost. It was cool. I like that. I've also got when it came out, I said I wanted to get one of these things, but I do got a baby Elixir that came out. My wife got it for me for my birthday. I wanted it. I named him Mithrax, so I got baby Mithrax here. So I do got some collectibles here. I don't know if I'm going to want to get the tower or not. Like I said, funds are a bit tight, but it does look kind of cool. But that's pretty much all the rest of what they talk about for this. So, like I said, that was pretty much the whole showcase. Like I said, mixed feelings, but this is really, like they said, this is the end of the Light and Dark chapter, or Light and Dark saga for Destiny 2, and this could be the end of a lot of dedicated players for Destiny 2 if this doesn't go well. So I'm hoping it does. I'm really hoping that they knock this out of the park. I'm hoping with the extra time they've had from putting out Lightfall, that they make this story amazing, that everything is wrapped up nicely, and that this gives us an excellent end of the journey. Not just an excellent end of the journey, but actually gives us a reason to push forward and keep going on as well. But we will see how that works in February next year. So that's going to end it for me, you guys. I've got more videos coming out. I'm going to be doing some more diving into Starfield here soon. Again, that's coming out on the 6th. I'll be playing it on the 1st, because again, I pre-ordered it. I know the review copy's out about it now. The embargo was lifted on the 31st, so I think it's like 8 hours before the game comes out, so we'll get to hear about it then. But in the meantime, I'm going to be bringing more information about Starfield and my opinions on it in the coming days. And that's going to be all for me for tonight. Thank you all for being with me tonight, and I will see you later.